Hello dear Cut and Sew tribe, welcome to another interesting tutorial. In today's class we are going to learn how to recreate this dress from the beginning to the end. I'm going to show you detailed illustration of how to cut it and sew it. So if it looks like what you want to learn, let's get into it in detail. These are all the required materials you are going to need. So you need all this. For the fabric, I have 3 years of Duchess fabric and I have 4 years of African print. So for my lining, I just have 2 years there. So basically, the upper part of this dress can either be sleeveless or you can cut it as two because of the cape we are going to have on it. But in my own case, I want to make it sleeveless. So, and it is just you adapting it is just your basic body you are going to use to achieve this. So that is my shoulder line, my bust line, my bust point, and I have here my front length. So this is my back length. That part is not part of the basic body. So another thing I want to work on is the neckline. Because I want to use this pattern to cut the cape, I will leave it at the neckline 3 by 3 for the front, and for the back just 3 by 1. Do you get it now? And there is no other bust tightening. We're not going to tighten under bust at all. We are just going to hold our bust that we are going to use it to create style line. If you look at that picture very well, you are going to see it there. Do you get it? So that means I am not going to close up my bust that on my pattern. Do you get it? We are going to hold it on the fabric by the time we are sewing. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out just like you see me doing. We are going to use our basic body to achieve the upper part of the dress. So if you don't know how to go about the basic body, I have detailed tutorial on it on the channel. Do well to check it out so that you can understand it better, because if I should go through the basic body, this is going to be very long. So I am still cutting that part of the dart. You can see I created that shape there so that by the time I want to hold the dart, the part will not gape. So this is it. I've cut it out and I'll go ahead now and transfer it to the fabric. I will add all the necessary seam allowances. So I've transferred my patterns to the fabric. So I did not cut the neckline because I said I'm still going to use the pattern to cut the cape, but I'm going to increase the neckline on the top. I'm going to use width 4 and depth 4 for the front, while width 4 for the back and depth 3 inches. The reason is that so that the cape, the one under the cape will not be showing. I hope you get it now. So the next thing to do now is to calculate the gown, the down part of the gown. So my full gown length is actually 47. I will take away the upper part, which is 15 inches, and I will be left with 32 inches. So for my flare length, total length of my flare is going to be 32. But we have ankara there. I'm going to attach ankara to it. So I want to use length like 13 inches for the ankara. So if you take away 13 from 32 inches, you will be left with 19 inches. So you don't want to cut that exact 19 inches. Go ahead and add like 1 or 2 inches to it. So I added 1 inch and that gave me 20 inches. Do you get it now? So that means the length of my Duchess, the upper part of the flare, is going to be 20 inches. Now we need to calculate the waist circumference. The waist circumference I'm working with is 28 plus 2 inches for the zipper allowance. That's going to make it 30 inches. So I'm going to add like extra of between 8 to 10 inches for the pleats we have on the dart lines. So that will make it 40 inches. Do you get it now? I added 10 inches and that gave me 40 inches. So that 40 inches, you are going to divide it by 6.28. If you divide 40 by 6.28, you'll be left with 6.4. So go ahead and add 6.4 to the length, which is 20, and that will give you an idea of the length you are going to fold on your dotches. So I just went ahead to fold my dotches as seen. So I'm going to fold it. I will measure 27 inches. Just make sure that you have a perfect square when you fold your fabric, because we are going to cut full circle to achieve the fullness on this dress. So I'm trying to like fold this fabric. This is dotches and it is very tricky, so you may need to pin it down so that you will not have to struggle with it like this. So I am trying to straighten it up, and I will make sure I get my 27. So I will make sure the 27 is on the four sides. So I've folded it and I just want to recheck. So I think I have what I need. So I folded it into four. Can you see it? Into four. So this place you have it pieces, that's going to be the length, but the upper part where you have everything folded, that's going to be the radius. Now when we use 6.28 to divide the waist circumference, we got 6.4. so that 6.4 is what I am measuring now. So I will go ahead and measure the 6.4, and I will make sure I rotate it round so that I will get the radius of this circle. Do you get it now? So I'll connect it together like so. Can you see it now? So after this, you want to go ahead now and measure your length. So my length is supposed to be 20 inches, but I decided to add one more extra inch because I noticed that by the time I want to place the patches, I may need to go up. The patches is not going to be straight, so I need to just create allowance so that it can accommodate it. Do you get it now? So I added extra 1 inch to the length, and this is what we have. Our circle is ready. I hope you saw the way I rotated it so that I can get the nice circumference. So by the time you cut your full circle, you should have this. If you have something like this, that means what you have done is correct. So I'll go ahead and cut the hem of my circle just like you see me doing it right now. So this is going to be the upper part of our flare. Now for you to be able to calculate the ankara that you are going to attach to the hem of these dotches, you need to go ahead and measure just the way you see me measuring. Now I will not deceive you, this is going to be a whole lot. So when I measure this, I have about 44 inches, and that 44 inches you are going to multiply it by 4. So when you multiply 44 inches by 4, you are going to have 176. So that is going to be a whole lot, but later when I was sewing it, I later devised another means and it actually came out perfectly. But if you have enough fabric, let's say you have your ankara fabric to be like 6 years, okay, that means maybe you can achieve that fullness. But because I'm working with 4 years of ankara fabric, instead of me cutting the full circumference, I just went ahead and cut that ankara part. You can see the way I am folding my ankara triangularly. I just went ahead to cut it on bias because I discovered that that 4 years, when I calculated it, cannot accommodate the circumference that I measured on the dotches. Do you get it now? So I folded my ankara fabric on bias like you see me doing, and I measure from the down part the length that I want my ankara fabric to be, which is I calculated 13 inches but because we are going to cut some parts out, by the time we want to shape the patches, so I added extra of 3 inches just to accommodate any eventuality. Do you get it now? So instead of me cutting 13 inches, I went ahead to cut 16 inches. It is better to have it longer than to have it short. Do you get it now? So this is how I'm going to shape the patches when the time comes. So I'm just trying to check if it will work out before I cut. So it depends on the type of ankara fabric you are using, but you just have to be very very calculative before you cut if you don't want to waste your fabric. I hope you get it now. So I have to check and recheck to be sure that everything is okay. So I am checking, I'm still checking, doing my calculation. You have to do this before you cut out your ankara. So I think I'm sure now, and I'll just go ahead and cut, but it is just 3 inches I added to the length in case of any eventuality. Do you get it now? So I'll just cut it out. So I went ahead to cut like 3 of these. Yes, I think I cut 3 of these and I joined them together. So I went to cut 3 of these, I joined them together. So can you see, I'm still trying to check before I cut others if the length will still be okay, but it actually worked out very well. So this is how you are going to shape it, but then I'm not going to shape it now because I am still going to put my interfacing on it, because you need to add a little bit of structure on that part of your fabric so that it can be firmer. Do you get it now? So this is it. I am placing the first one that I have cut. I'm placing it on it to recut. So I'm going to cut 3 of it like I said. I'll just go ahead and cut it out. Can you see it? So this is the third one I want to cut now. Still place the one I've cut, and I will just go ahead and cut it out. So I have 3 like this, and by the time I joined them together, uh they were enough for the down part. Do you get it now? So I could not achieve full circle on the ankara. That was why I cut it bit by bit like this. So I'll go ahead now and join the 3 of them together. So, and I'm going to fuse the interfacing. Now this interfacing is just like the length. Can you see it? It's not the whole ankara fabric that I added the interfacing. Now it is time to cut out the shape. Can you see it? I'm just trying to follow the pattern on my fabric. It depends on the type of fabric you are using, but I think I'm just giving you the clue to how you can achieve this. So it is always good you add your interfacing so that it can be uh firmer. So this is it. I've cut out the shape, and you can see that the shape actually came out very well. And I've sewn down the hem of the peplum, the duchess peplum. Okay, now this is where the work is. So we are going to take it to the ironing table and use your hemi gum to secure it. So I'll take it to the ironing table now, and we're going to continue from there. So while that one is going on, somebody is helping me to do that. I think we should be working on the upper part. So this is what we want to do on your upper part. Just go ahead and join the shoulders together, lining to lining and fabric to fabric. You are going to join them separately. Do you get it now? Your shoulders, go ahead and do that. Now this is it. I've joined my shoulders together, and this is what we have. So the next thing we're going to do now, though I've done that, is that you transfer your dart on your fabric so that you know the placement, the right placement. So I'll go ahead now and hold my dart. This your bust dart, you know, I told you you are going to hold it on the fabric. So whatever you do on the main fabric is what you are going to repeat on the lining as well. So after that, I will join the neckline. I will make sure I leave 1 inch, the zipper allowance that I added on the back. So this is it. I've turned the neckline, I've held all my dart, and I left that 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So the next thing you want to do is to go ahead and fix your bra cup. So you can see the way I'm placing my bra cup. So the outside will be facing you because I'll be attaching it to the lining. So I fix my bra cup. I just tack it down strategically in 3 places. So after that, now I will go ahead now and just shape this upper part using my own seam allowance. So whatever your seam allowance is, you go ahead and do that. You are going to do it separately, the lining separate and the main fabric separate. Do you get it now? So this is it. I want to pin it down the zipper allowance so that I can shape that part correctly. So I've shaped it and this is what we have now, and I've done my patches. I've secured it with the hemi gum now, and another thing I did was that I went ahead to sew it down. I follow the shape to sew it down because the hemi gum cannot hold it permanently. I hope you get it. So we're going to attach it to the upper part now. I've gotten the midpoint of my upper part, so I'm going to fold my flare into two as well. I've gotten the center of the peplum as well. So now you measure the your nipple to nipple, the dart intake on the top. You are going to fold it on the peplum so that your pleats can align with the dart. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So the space of my own dart is 6 inches. So and that is what I measured on the peplum, and I'm trying to fold in that 10 inches we had there. So I'm going to share the 10 inches in 4 places. So that means each dart, each pleat is going to get like 2.5 inches. So it is that 2.5 inches I am folding in like so. So you need to do all this calculation very well so that your work can come out neatly. So follow whatever you had on your hole. Do you get it now? So I've folded the dart and I'm just trying to check if everything aligns. So for the down, for the back hole, I'll go ahead now and measure it as well. Can you see it? That space, you need to measure it, and you measure it on your skirt, the down part as well, before folding the dart in, the pleat intake. Do you get it now? So I'll go ahead and do all those things. Go ahead and just fold whatever allowance you added to your waist circumference so that everything can align. So I have held it and I am pinning it down. I'll do the other side as well. Measure before you pleat so that your pleat and your dart line can align. So this is it. I'm done with it. I'll go and hold it down. I'm going to place it right side facing right side now. Can you see it? I have it equal because I have done the right calculation. So I'll go and join it down, and the lining as well, I'm going to attach it to the down part, right side facing right side. So this is what we have now. Can you see it? Can you see that my pleats align with the dart line? So I fix my zipper as well to save our time. So that part we left open, is what I am using now. I fixed the zipper on the main fabric first, so I will go and use my lining to turn that part now. Just follow the way I am doing it. If you don't understand it, I think I have tutorial on how to fix a zipper on this channel. You can do well to check it out. So the other side as well, we are going to use that lining to turn the zipper head. Can you see the way I turn it? And you are going to close up the part you open, and you just go ahead and sew it from the beginning to the end. So I've sewn down the zipper, and I'm just trying to cut out all the threads. So let me turn it inside out so that you look at how it looks. So this is what we have. This is what the inside looks like. Can you see how neat everything is? So look at the waistline, everything is neatly sewn down. So to the down part, somewhere around the down part, I just added little bit of hard net to it. That one is totally optional. So this is what the upper part looks like. I didn't finish the armhole because I'm still going to attach sleeve to this, because my client requested for sleeve. So now to work on our cape, I'm going to attach extra paper to the basic body. As you can see, I have my paper tape there, and I'm going to join the two papers together. So you are going to create 3 lines here. The first line is going to be on your shoulder area. So you are going to extend your shoulder like you see me doing. So I'm going to extend it by like 4 inches, because you know we are going to create a form of cap sleeve on this cape. Do you get it now? So that 4 inches, you can see the way I place my ruler. You are going to make sure it slopes down like so. And the next line is going to be on your mid armhole. So extend your mid armhole by 4 inches as well, and you are going to bring it out. So the next one is going to be your shoulder line. So you know, this is where my shoulder line ends. My shoulder is actually 7.5. So from that place, I'm going to extend it by 4 inches as well. So these 3 lines is going to serve as a guide for us to get our cap sleeve, just like cap sleeve. You know, it's not going to be cap sleeve. So the next thing we're going to do is to determine the length of our cape. So you can use between 9 to 10 inches depending on the height of your client. So in my own case, I'll just be stopping on my chest line. So you can see, so on that chest line, I'm going to divide my shoulder. Whatever your shoulder measurement is, go ahead and divide it into 3. My own shoulder line is 7.5, and that 7.5 is what I have divided into 3. So this is the first line. This here is the first line. So I will go up on the first line by, let's say, 2.5. I will go up by 2.5 on the first line. Do you get it now? So on the second line, I will go up by 1 to 1.5. You can use between 1 to 1.5 depending on how sharp you want it to be. So I went up by 1.5. So on that 2.5 inch, you are going to use your curve. Can you see it? To draw your curve like this. So this is the first arc. Can you see it now? So from that 2.5 now, you are going to use your curve again to connect it to the second point, which is 1.5. Can you see it? So we have done that now. So this one now, you are going to connect it to your mid armhole. The reason is that you don't want it to be too low, so that you can lift your arm. Do you get it now? So you need to place your curve very well so that the shape can come out very well. So we have been able to create 1.5 now, because you know the center front is going to be unfold later. Do you get it now? So the last one, you know, we are going to get 5 scallop altogether. So the last one is going to go from your mid armhole, is going to go towards that 4 inches extension you have on your chest line. So you can divide that 4 inches into two to get the midpoint, so that you know where that one that is coming from the mid armhole will stop. So I hope you can see the way I'm drawing the shape. So I've connected it to that part. Now to get that shape, the one that will go all the way to the down part that will serve as your sleeve. So on your shoulder line, try and raise your curve to get the puff effect. So raise your curve like ½ inch above your shoulder line. Do you get it? Can you see the way I'm placing my curve like this? And you are going to carefully place your curve carefully so that you get the perfect shape there. So I'm trying to adjust it. Can you see it? So blend it in very well, and you are going to connect it to that 2 inches. Can you see it? So you still use your curve again to blend it in. So this is it. All together we have 2.5 scallop here. By the time we open it up, you know this is going to be cut on fold. We are going to get 5 scallop all together. So I'll be using this to cut both the front and the back. By the time I want to cut the back hole, I'm going to adjust the neckline. Do you get it now? So this is it. I'm going to use the shape for both the front and the back. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out just like you see me doing. So we have this now. I'm going to bring up my leftover fabric and I'm going to fold it. It's going to be on fold to cut the front. So I'm going to fold it into two like this, and I'm going to place it like you see. So I'll go ahead and add my seam allowance of ½ inch all through. Just ½ inch is okay. So you can pin it down so that your pattern will not be shaking up and down. So, and I'll go ahead and cut it out. So this is it. I've cut it out, and I'll just go ahead and remove my pattern. So when you open it up, this is what you will have. Can you see we have our 5 scallop complete now? So it's time to cut for the back. So the back one is going to be on, you are going to cut it separately. So you are going to have 2 pieces for the back. Do you get it now? So I'll go ahead and fold my fabric like so, and I'm going to place the pattern on it. So like I said, I'm going to work on the neckline. I will increase the neckline. So after increasing the neckline, like you see, I'll go ahead and add ½ inch all through. So including the center front, go ahead and add ½ inch, because you know you are still going to cut it into 2. Do you get it now? So let me do that now. I will continue from there. So this is what we have. I'm going to open that part up now because of the back button. So I will open it up. I'll cut it into 2 equal halves. So I decided not to cut it all through to the scallops so that it can be easy when I'm sewing all the scallops. I'll cut it later when I'm done sewing. So now to cut your lining, I'm going to use the um, main fabric as well. I'm going to use the same thing for both the lining and the fabric. So I've cut it. I have it in 4 places like this, and I've added my hair stay to it. So the next thing you are going to do now is you need to notch the mid armhole side, that part that we came down with. So go ahead and notch that part. You are going to notch it both on the lining and the fabric, because that is where you are going to stop sewing. So after notching it now, you are going to pick lining to lining and fabric to fabric. You will go ahead and join them on the shoulder. So you start from that 4 inches you notch, and you are going to join it You repeat the same thing on the lining. So I've joined it on the shoulder, and the next thing you do now is to go ahead and notch it. Can you see it? Notch it and stop on that 4 inches. So this is what we have now. So I'll go ahead now and push it out just like you see me doing, so that our shape can come out. So, and I will give it a good press. So I've ironed it down. If you notice, I've not cut down the back because I want it to be easy when I am sewing the scallop. So the next thing to do now is to go ahead and turn the neckline. So you are going to use the lining, the part you are using for the lining. You can see the way I tuck the main fabric in. So just make sure the right side face the right side. So go ahead and pin the neckline like you see me doing. Go ahead and pin everything down so that it will be very easy for you when you are sewing. So I will go and turn the neckline. I will turn the neckline. I will come and continue. So I've turned the neckline. The next thing to do now is to join the scallop. So can you see it? See right side facing right side. I will sew all the scallop through. Can you see it? I'll follow the shape. You need to be very careful here if you want your shape to come out very well. So follow the shape and turn the scallop. So this is what we have, and I want to cut the back now. I want to cut it finish so that I can turn it successfully. So I will turn it inside out. But before I turn it inside out, please make sure you notch all the scallop, all the arc, the shape where the scallop went in. Make sure you notch them very well. So I have this space now to turn my cape. Can you see it? I'll go ahead and notch. I said you should not forget to notch. It's very important you notch, because if you don't notch all these parts, your shape will not come out very well. All those parts, you just need to notch them very well. So I'll go ahead now and turn it inside out. Just go ahead and turn it inside out. So when you turn it inside out, you still have to use sharp objects, maybe your scissors mouth, to push out all those parts. It's very important, because the shape will not come out very well. So you can see the way I'm checking and checking. So can you see it? Just go ahead and push it out very well, all the corners. So I've done that, and this is what we have. I've given it a good press. So that part, you go ahead now and attach your I have a fringe here, a strand of fringe. I remove it from the fringe. So that's what I want to use for my loop. Can you see it? I cut like 2 inches. So it depends on how big your button is. So do you get it now? So I'm going to tuck it in. Can you see the way I am placing it in? So I'll go ahead and just tuck it in inside carefully, and I will pin it down. It's very funny to work with, but I used to love the neatness. So I'll pin it down carefully. You can have it as many as you want, but in my own case, I just want to use 2. Just, just 2 is okay for me. So I will put it in like you see me doing, and after that I will just go and sew that part in carefully, very close to the edge, and I will fix my button. Do you get it? So let me go and do that. So this is what we have. I've done that, and I will be fixing my button later on. I want to go and attach my stones. So I've put my stones, and this is what we have. Can you see how beautiful it is? I'm going to wear it on the dress. So you can see I have about 3 versions of this dress. I've attached the sleeve because my clients requested for it. But if you don't want it with the sleeve, that is the one we have at the center. And at the end of the day, I actually love the way it came out. I'll see you in the next class. Bye.